The Rotary Club of Manila presents this Journalism Award 2010 to Caroline Arguillas of Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism for her unrelenting reportage of the newsworthy events and issues in Mindanao.
Thank you very much, Rotary Club of Manila, for this award, which I accept on behalf of the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism, on behalf of my colleagues at MindaNews. A pleasant good afternoon to all of you. 2 days ago, at the launching of Dr. Ronnie Amarado's book, Kakistocracy, The Rule of the Unprincipled, Unethical, and Unqualified, held at the Ateneo de Davao University, the Deputy Ombudsman for Mindanao, Humphrey Monteroso, narrated that in 2005, Major General Carlos Garcia offered through his lawyer to plead guilty to the crime of plunder and return all the 303 million he is alleged to have stolen, provided his wife and 3 children would be excluded from the case. Monteroso, then the Deputy Special Prosecutor, who prepared and signed the information for plunder against Garcia, said the offer was rejected by the Office of the Ombudsman, then under Simeon Marcelo, to serve as deterrence. At that time, ousted President Joseph Estrada's trial for plunder was ongoing. While Garcia was allowed to plead guilty to the lesser offenses and return only 135 million, when he was willing to return all 303 million in 2005, has remained a mystery. What happened to the 168 million? Monteroso asked. Your guess is as good as mine, he replied. I approached the Deputy Ombudsman immediately after the launch, not only because I wanted to know more details about the 2005 Garcia offer, but also to follow up on my pending request for copies of the Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth of Mindanao's governors and city mayors. Requesting for copies of SALNs was not a problem until new rules were imposed sometime in mid-2009 by the Ombudsman who was impeached and who recently resigned. What used to be a process, at least for us in the provinces, of only a few days before 2009, took weeks in 2009 and months by 2010. Manila-based colleagues here are complaining it takes a couple of days to get copies, but it takes ages in the provinces. In fact, our September 1, 2010 request for SALN copies has, as of today, May 19, 2011, yet to be granted. In 2009, the year the new rules on obtaining copies of SALNs was imposed, my September 1 request was granted on 13 October. Why it has taken so long is just one of the many difficulties we face in the community press. We get caught, we get pressed in a very unnecessary bureaucratic maze. Think about this. The SALNs of Mindanao officials are filed with the Office of the Deputy Ombudsman for Mindanao. Before 2009, the Mindanao office acted on our requests in a matter of days. Since the new rules were imposed, our requests had to be endorsed with the Ombudsman's office in Quezon City, which will then write us to inform us in Davao City that they have received from the Mindanao office, also in Davao City, an endorsement of our request. We then wait for another letter that will state approval of our request before we can finally get our certified true copies of the SALNs. Such a waste of time and mailing expenses. It has taken eternity to grant a very simple request of documents that are already available right there in the Mindanao office. When I sent a follow-up letter, I was told by the Ombudsman's office in Quezon City that I did not name the Mindanao governors and mayors individually. But in 2009, and in years before that, in fact since 2001, my request for copies of the SAL-Ns of Mindanao's chief executives in the 25 provinces and 27 cities, or 26 provinces and 33 cities, depending on the Supreme Court's decision of the years indicated, was granted even if I did not name them individually. So in another letter, I asked if the delay in releasing copies of the SAL-N was because of my other request, also made on the same day, on September 1, 2010, for a copy of the report on the lifestyle check the Office of the Deputy Ombudsman for Mindanao conducted on the Ampatuans, the principal suspects in the November 23, 2009 massacre in Ampatuan, Maguindanao, where 58 persons, 32 of them from the media, were killed. The initial report was sent to the Ombudsman's office in Quezon City in late December 2009 or early 2010. But the Deputy Ombudsman for Mindanao could not release copies of the report because only the Ombudsman's office in Quezon City could release it. So again, the Deputy sent a letter endorsing our request. The request for a copy of the lifestyle check report on the Ampatuans was not granted. The request for copies of the SAL-Ns of Mindanao's governors and city mayors has remained pending. The Deputy Ombudsman for Mindanao 2 days ago suggested that I should write again now because the Ombudsman's office is under a new administration. I hope whoever sits as Ombudsman would make the SAL-Ns easily available. Better still, in this age of cyberspace, in the spirit of transparency, in the fight against corruption, in the campaign to take the matuwid na daan, why cannot the Office of the Ombudsman make available through its website PDF copies of the SAL-Ns filed with their offices? Lack of access to information abets corruption, abets kakistocracy. I do not think we want to be known as a nation of kakistocrats. Thank you very much for listening.